flavor of the Midlands. Live from Columbia, this is Soda City Live.
Welcome back to Soda City Live, everyone. You know, personally, this is one of my favorite places on set. We've moved to the kitchen to talk about the upcoming Taste of Lake Murray. We heard the details before, but now we're talking about the food, of course. You can't talk about the Taste of Lake Murray without mentioning the great food. Before the break, I sat down with Vicki Davis, but now we're joined with one of the owners or chefs from a dozen of the restaurants that will be featured in this year's event, Smoked. And joining me to give us just a little taste of what you can expect, Executive Chef Lee. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, I love it. So for people who are not familiar with Smoked, tell us more about your restaurant. You're located on Main Street right here downtown Columbia.
Yes, ma'am. We're located at 1643 Main Street. We are a fine dining, higher end steak and seafood restaurant. We do a lot of smoked meats as well, but mostly we are heavy seafood and heavy like higher end steaks.
All right, we love that. We love that. So today you brought some of that high end quality here on the Soda City Live set.
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Explain to our viewers what you're in the process of making.
Okay, so this is going to be part of what I am going to do for the competition next week for Taste of Lake Murray. So this is some Jimmy Red Corn grits. They're coming from Edisto, South Carolina, from Marsh Hens Mill. So I wanted to do something that has some local ingredients, so I chose the grits from them. I seared off some Terrace Major that we will just flash in the pan for a few seconds just to bring them back up to heat.
Okay.
Have some of this beautiful hair from wontons that we're going to top it with. It's going to get a hoisin, apple cider, mirin. It has a little bit of fish sauce. So it's more of a, like your Asian style sauce.
And you're going to top that on. So I'm going to let you get to it, but I
ma'am.
want to go back to the grits. So how are you cooking the grits? I saw you flipping it like a pancake.
Yes, ma'am.
So tell us the technique behind that. And we love that you're using local products as well because we love our grits in South Carolina, of course.
Of course. So what the grits is, what I do is it's 4-to-1. I use heavy cream in my grits instead of milk, which most people do. So it's going to be 4 parts to 1. It's going to have a little bit of butter, some salt, some white pepper, of course the grits, and just going to cook them low and slow until they're nice and creamy and have a little bit of texture to them, but you don't want them too mushy.
Yeah.
So with that being said, just
it looks good.
Just warming them up right now.
Chef Lee, where are you originally from?
I'm originally from Lawrence, South Carolina, upstate.
Okay, so I was going to say, I know a true South Carolinian when I see one, when you know how to cook grits. I heard that he's using heavy whipping cream, no milk, and he's cooking them low and slow. So that tells me everything I need to know about the food at Smoked. That is going to be A1. And then as you're working on the grits, you mentioned the steak. What cut is that?
So this is going to be Terrace Major. It is essentially your lat muscle. It's going to be very lean. It's going to be essentially like a tenderloin, but a smaller version of a tenderloin. So what I did before I seared it, I just put a little bit of blackening seasoning over top of it. Seared it, pulled it off, let it rest, let it cool down, sliced it really thin so it still have this nice, beautiful, rare color on it.
Okay.
And then put it in the pan for just a couple of seconds to warm it back up, and then we're done.
Look at that. Not overcooked. It looks amazing. And tell us a little bit about your cooking background, Chef Lee.
So my cooking background is mainly Southern. I do love Asian food, so I try to incorporate Asian cooking into a little or everything that I do. Sometimes it doesn't work just for the principle of what we're doing, but sometimes it just fits that nice umami flavor that's going on.
I like that. So when you go to Smoked, that's why you have just this extensive menu with different creations that you've come up with.
Yes, ma'am.
That incorporates some of that.
And sure, and it's not always from me. I give my my guys in the kitchen, my sous chefs, my executive sous, the opportunity to come up with whatever they want.
Nice.
If it's good, then we'll run it. You know, if not, we'll tweak it and then maybe push it out the next week.
I like that. I like that. And as we're talking more about the restaurant, you have some events coming up. Let us know about that.
Yes, ma'am, we do. So we actually have one tonight, but it's every other Tuesday. We do an oyster series. It's 10 people. It's a wine, spirit, or beer pairing with the oysters. So you'll get two raw oysters from different types, and you'll also end up with a special treat that we throw out. Sometimes it's char-grilled oysters, or it could be ceviche or whatever that we're feeling to go with that.
It sounds good. And then you have a big event coming up next month as well.
Yes, we do. On the 7th, we have a Old Forester birthday bourbon. It will be the first one ever done in the U.S. Very, very excited to be a part of that.
Nice. Okay, you have to come back on the show and tell us about that. Sure. That sounds fun.
That's not a problem. A lot of high-end, really high-end, hard-to-find bourbons. Also getting paired with a lot of really good food.
That sounds good. And speaking of the first, this will also be your first time participating in the Taste of Lake Murray, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So tell us what you're looking forward to the most for that event in March.
Just being out with the rest of the chefs in Columbia, and just being able to have a good time with them instead of us being all at work and not being able to hang out. So this is a good example, just like the Food and Wine is. We all get together afterward, you know, cut loose, have some fun.
Yeah.
But for me, it's just more about a social gathering and making good food for people, getting into a new clientele that we aren't seeing here. Some people do come in from the lake and come visit us, but you know, just a whole different crowd of people out there that we would like to get into.
That sounds good, Chef. And as you're plating the food, I'm going to, if we can bring it right here so everyone can begin to see how you're plating the food. And you still have your grits on low.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so what's next for this complete plate?
I'm going to take these grits and I'm going to move them over to this side. Let's cut that off. Cut that one off. I'm going to grab these gloves. Sorry, excuse me.
And as you're plating the food, Chef, tell me, if you can, pick one. What's one of your favorite dishes at Smoked and why?
I guess one of my favorite dishes would be our lamb ribs. They're amazing. I'm a huge fan of lamb.
Okay.
I grew up eating nothing but chicken growing up. That's the only thing my parents would cook.
Yeah.
So I'm not a huge chicken person anymore, just because I ate it 4 or 5 times, 6 times a week, every week. So that, you know, just redundant. And so my favorite thing would be definitely either seafood or the lamb ribs.
Or the lamb. And lamb is good, and you really have to have a skill to make the perfect lamb as well.
Yes.
So anything else you want to share with our viewers as we're wrapping up now, and we're about to see your final presentation. Anything else you would like to tell us about Smoked or the Taste of Lake Murray?
Yeah, I'll indulge a little bit more about Smoked. You know, have great owners, great people that's standing behind us. They will literally do whatever we need. If we have problems, I can always rely on them, go to them like, hey, you know, I want to do this or that or another, and they're like, well, okay, well, if it makes sense and we can make money off of it, have fun.
All righty, well, we have to wrap up now, so I'll let you go ahead and bring this plate over. And again, you can find Smoked on Main Street. What are your hours again, Chef? We are open from 11 a.m. to 10:15 p.m. was our last sitting. Okay.
And then on the weekends, we are open from 10 a.m. till 10:15 as well for our kitchen hours, and our bar is open till I think 12. Just so you can have some drinks after you're done eating and whatnot.
Yeah, well, Chef Lee, thank you so much. I'm going to give you a big round of applause if everybody in the studio can join me, because it looks amazing. We'll have all the details online with the taste and more about Smoked. Thank you so much for coming on the show. We're going to take a quick break. Much more Soda City Live after this.